Well, welcome and good day, everyone. We, of course, are glad you guys to have you back here with us again for another wonderful Talk It Over. I know we've had a little bit of flu going around a little bit with a bunch of us, so it's, of course, made it difficult for us, of course, to be together, to get to these Talk It Overs, but we are certainly glad to be back in the swing of it again this week to bring this wonderful Talk It Over with you, finishing out our series, Book Club, which again, been an excellent series. If you haven't had a chance to watch it or watch all of them yet, you can head over to our YouTube channel at LifeNorth.Church. They're all there. Get caught up and finish out this wonderful series from Pastor Craig. Before we dive into that though, how's it going, Dave? How are things with you? And I know it's been a while, but
yeah. Well, that's because we've had this cold flu thing circulating through the house, and so it's finally kind of cleared up, and
Yes.
we're on the other side of it. So it's been crazy. All the stuff that gets dropped because you have to look after your health first. Right? You want to keep other people from getting sick. You want to make sure that you're getting healthy, and so everything shifts.
It does.
When you're not well, everything shifts about how do I get healthy, and then you have to kind of shift back to work and stuff as you go.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be on the other side of that now. It's good.
Yeah, I agree. It's been one of those up and downs. It's been one of us, at home got it, then it was a few days later, the next, and the next. It was never all of us right at once. So we've been same thing. It's just been a continuous process for a few weeks now of just trying to get through it. And it's nice to be on the other side of it. But other great things. Weather's been good. We've had excellent weather. It's been wonderful to be outside, being able to get stuff done, around the house outside. Gardens, of course, are looking good. The garden, actually, this year is doing really well so far.
So nice.
We've got so many plants growing like crazy. It's really nice. So it's nice to see all that, and
we got
hard work.
We got a wedding happening later this summer.
Yes.
So because we have some stuff happening in the backyard, we got flowers out there and kind of did a little extra work on it, and they look spectacular. It's really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, those wedding things really ramp up as they get much closer, and
they do.
Things changing, moving around, and organizing for that wonderful occasion that, of course, is coming up soon. So
it is.
Yeah. So let us know, guys, in the chat. If you're, of course, watching this on YouTube, let us know. Leave a comment. How are things been with you guys? And have you guys, of course, been enjoying the same weather we have? That's been really good, and been able to get outside and just enjoy that wonderful summer day. So yes, in our series of book club, this is our last week, and the title of today's message is 3 Secrets to the Marriage You Want. And a lot of us, I think we have the marriage we want, but don't really, maybe not fully understand. Maybe there's more to it than what we
could be. I think a lot of people, though, would say they know where they could improve. That there's stuff that's not what they would like it to be.
Yes.
So you may see some things like, I love this about my marriage, but this is not so good. And so if you want a successful marriage, how do you deal with those areas? Right?
Yes. And Craig gave us a great starting point for the message. He brought kind of those 5 main points to that marriage that we all really want.
It's from his book, right?
It is. It's from his book.
Yeah.
And so first one is seek God.
Yeah.
Fight fair.
Yeah.
Have fun. Stay pure. Don't give up. Those are, to me, a good foundation to a really good marriage. With those in mind, it helps guide the directions you're going with your marriage. And that fighting fair, it's one of those ones that's kind of fun, but we all run into those. We have those arguments, those little fights. It just happens. We're all imperfect, and it all does happen, but we have to keep that in mind.
And I like how you phrase that. Don't fight against each other, fight for your marriage.
Yes.
You're going to argue, just what perspective you're going to bring.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah, it was excellent. So he focused in on the more kind of having fun part of those 5. And I like how he started the message with, he said divorce. And a lot of us, we look at divorce and wow, that's pretty, touchy subject for some.
Yeah.
But he says, divorce is when you run out of love. That love that you feel for your spouse maybe is running on empty. And he says, but that really translates into, when your car runs out of gas, you just get rid of the car. Right? Just because it's out of gas, you just get rid of it? Or, as he put it, you need to fill it back up.
Fill it back up.
You need to fill up that gas tank, fill up that love, find a way to fill that back into your marriage.
And then people maybe give up too soon on their marriage.
Yes.
Divorce becomes kind of an easier out rather than do the work, fill it back up.
Yep. Put in the effort, put in the time.
Yeah, which is so beneficial because you've got such a good foundation to build it on because you've already got that relationship.
Yes.
But we're always like, no, it'll be better. I'll go do something new.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I like how Craig put that about the grass is always greener on the other side. He's like, just water your lawn. And again, it relates to that. You really have to put in that time and effort to really get the fruits of those labors come later. Yeah. He also put, never stop pursuing your spouse. Yeah. And I do really like that. I think sometimes for me, I do forget that I need to continue to pursue. Yeah. I think that's an easy one to forget, unfortunately, is that pursuit is very important. And then the 3 secrets to a great marriage that he touched on were when you think something good, say it. So pursue her with words. And for him, he said, she needs to pursue your husband with words of affirmation.
Right.
So again, different types of language and how we receive that love. Yeah. So I thought that was really good. The second was when you think something special, do it. Yeah. And when you want something different, be it. Be it. I thought that was excellent. Because sometimes we want something different, but we're not willing to take that step to make a different change or to do something different. I
want them to change.
Yes.
As opposed to I need to change.
Yes, that them to change. And again, that kind of touches back on that easier way. Let's let them do it. I don't have to put in the work. We'll let them look after it.
I'm fine. I'm perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to change at all. It's them.
It's them. Yeah, it's them.
Yeah. Not so much.
And I think we missed that. We missed that we're 50% of the good and even the bad. Yeah. And I think we misrecognized that it's them. I'm good. So I did like that. Our main scripture focus today is found in Genesis 2, verses 22 to 24. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib, and he brought her to man. At last the man exclaimed, "This one is bone from my bone and flesh from my flesh. She will be called woman, because she was taken from man." This explains why man leaves their father and mother and joins his wife, and the two are united into one. Man, I always forget that one. I love that verse, that taking of the rib, and I think that really puts that we are meant to be together, that there's always something missing from us, and we always want to find our other piece, and that we're supposed to be joined together. And I like that verse. It's one of...
It's interesting, right? Because obviously one of my boys is getting married this summer.
Yes.
And so the verse talks about like that relationship as a family that we have. He's going to be leaving his father and his mother, and he's going to be united as one with his spouse. Right? This is significant. It's a change.
It is a change.
And when you become married, you become one. That's significant. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we get wrapped up in the kids and forget that actually, eventually the kids are going to move on.
Yes.
The oneness is actually you and your spouse.
Yep.
Like that's the significant relationship, and so you need to maintain that. Mm-hmm. You need to keep investing in that.
Yes.
Because that's the significant one you need to come back to.
Yes. Yeah, and that's exactly it. As the kids grow and they leave, if you've forgotten or not pursued your spouse in any way, when they're gone and all your energy's gone to them, you've lost those years of your spouse that you are joined to and to be with. So. Yeah, very important to stay focused on your spouse. Make sure you pursue them. Yeah. Keep making it fun. I like the idea of fun and being even spontaneous and doing certain things just to brighten the day. Yeah. That they know they still do care about me each day. I think is excellent. So what would be your favorite thing to do for fun with others, Dave? What was something that you really enjoy?
We were talking about this, and it changes over the years, right? Depending on ages and stages of your own life and your kids. And right now, it's like to play cards with people. Enjoy doing that. Used to be sports. I used to love to play sports, and haven't done much of that. Yep. Most of the stuff I do is kind of on my own now that way. So mostly getting together and hanging out. We like to be out in the garden, campfires, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I think that's the stuff that we enjoy doing now. That I enjoy.
Yeah. Certainly different stages of life bring different interests with friends, right? And for me, younger was getting out on the motorcycle with my dad, friends. We'd go and I loved it, absolutely loved it. That shifts as age and of course little ones come along. It changes how that works.
Yeah.
But now is very similar. Barbecues for sure.
Oh yeah.
Love cooking outside with people, just enjoying that. Campfires, things like that. Really enjoy that. Certainly at this, we'll say this season in the summer, it's very nice. I love doing that.
Yeah.
And then the winter is more, let's do some potlucks and cards, games. We have to be inside anyway. Right. It's cold, so let's get to doing some games and that.
Because you're not a go to the beach guy, are you?
No, surprisingly not. No,
that's not your thing.
No, my wife and my little guy love the beach, and I'm not big on the beach. I just never enjoyed the beach to that degree. I will go and sit and enjoy the day. But
what about like hiking or walking, that kind of stuff?
Ooh, yes, hiking. Love hiking. Yeah, hiking trails, that kind of stuff. Yeah, love that. That's a lot of fun. Get out in nature is a good one too. So quite enjoy that. Let us know, guys, in the chat. What do you guys enjoy doing with friends? What's something you find fun, exciting, and love to do? Please let us know in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. So with this final message of book club, what part of this message was most impactful for you, Dave? What was?
I think a couple of things stuck out for me. One is it's all about the effort you put into it. And it's a lesson we know from other areas of life, but it was good to apply it to marriage and relationships. That you can't expect something you're not investing time and effort and energy into to get better, to improve. And so we talk about it in terms of the slight edge, things getting better, or the slow fade.
Yes.
There is no maintaining. It doesn't happen. Either it's getting better or it's getting worse over time, because either you're investing in it or you're not. And so Craig just highlighting, like, when it comes to your marriage and that main relationship, what are you doing with it? Are you just coasting, which means it's actually fading, it's getting worse. And if that's not what you want to do, you want to actually improve it and get better. So the power of intentionality, the power of making an effort, and how that can really pay off in a big way if you're willing to do that.
Yes. Yeah, that was excellent part of the message for sure. For me, definitely I think was the pursuing your spouse. And we touched on that about, focusing on that. And if you're always focusing on, kids or whatever, you're losing sight of that person that you married, somebody who you were together with before the kids, before anything else happened. I think for me, just that, reminder that, no, I need to continue to pursue, continue to work on that relationship, because that's a lifelong relationship that I'm, there with until I'm, passed away and gone to heaven. And so for me, I lose sight of that, I've got time for that later. But no, I really needed to make that kind of a main focus. And just the way that Craig, prioritizes that, making that a priority, and just how he kind of explained, what he does with his wife and how he prioritizes that time to make sure, it's there, that they're working on that daily. So that was really good. I really enjoyed that. Okay, so we're going to read Hebrews 3, verse 13. But encourage one another daily, as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness. So, with that in mind, in what ways do you enjoy being encouraged? And what does it look like to encourage those around you daily?
The being encouraged is different for different people. So, like for my wife, she likes to be encouraged when she's stepping up and doing the things that she needs to do, like around the house or in her life. And just be recognized that she made the effort, she got those things done. Whereas for me, I don't like that, because it sounds to me like you're saying thank you for something that I was supposed to do anyway. So I like the more random, I'm just showing up and saying I appreciate you. And so in my life, where I've had guys show up, with a lunch and say, hey, let's do lunch together, or with something special, or hey, we're going to hang out together. Let's get together. Like, I really appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yep.
For me, that's really building up. And so I like to offer that to other people, but they don't always receive it the same way that I would. So it's just being aware too of, well, what do they enjoy?
Yep.
What do they appreciate? And how can I bring that?
Yep.
And so for Carolyn, I'll bring, one of her favorite teas and say, just show up with one of those, and here, I've got one of these for you today. And she appreciates that.
Yep.
And I'll do flowers every once in a while. Craig does it all the time.
Yep.
But my wife doesn't look at flowers the same way. She's that's not a big thing for her.
Yep.
She'd rather have something different. So it's really knowing what you like, what the other person likes, and showing up with that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It is very different for everyone, for sure. I know for me, encouraging, I more of the random things, or, I've been, doing something, and, my wife knows that, and so she's spontaneous, so will show up with something random times, as like, I appreciate what you're doing a great job. And so for me, I enjoy that. I don't need like the constant encouragement all the time. That doesn't bring anything extra, I guess, for me. So those random spontaneous ones certainly mean more. And when she does, it's very thoughtful, and she knows exactly what to do with it. And so that makes it really special. And that also shows, she does care, she does listen, she does. So
like when she's willing to watch a science fiction movie with you, and
things like that. So sitting there watching some of the Marvel stuff. It's certainly not her forte. It's not a big interest for her, or Star Wars by that matter. But she will sit and she will watch with me, and I know that's a way for her to show that she appreciates and just encourage me in those areas of things that I do enjoy.
And that's the kind of stuff you do when you're dating. We know that's really good intuitively when you're dating, so I'll make that effort.
Yes.
I'll watch that movie. Carolyn likes to watch romantic comedies. She did a lot when we were first dating. And so you sit down and you watch it together. It's like, okay, I don't really want to see this, but for the sake of her and her enjoyment, I'll do that. And it's easy after you get married for that to begin to fade, and you don't make that effort anymore. And the same with the encouragement. Just someone needs a little pick-me-up, needs a word to say, I care about you. And earlier on in the marriage, it's like, I'm all over that, I'm going to do that. And then later on, it's like, well, you know that already.
I love you. I don't have to keep telling you.
That's right.
I'll
let you know when it changes.
Exactly. So, exactly. And that's the thing. It's hard to say, this is how I encourage everyone, because everybody I know needs encouragement in a different way. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what that looks like. But I would say, as Craig would say, a generalization of what that may look like. And to start, for most people, just those encouraging words, whether it's a text message or a quick phone call, just saying, hey, just wanted to say, hey, how's it going? How's the day been? Like something like that, I think is a general way to start that encouragement with people around you. And then of course build from there and find maybe a bit more of what their interests are, or how they, receive that encouragement.
Well, and it's kind of funny because over the years, as a pastor, we would do like an affirmation circle where you would sit a group of people down and you put one person on the hot seat and say, okay, I want everyone to say something that they appreciate or that they value about this person.
Okay.
And what was interesting was how hard it was for the person on the hot seat to receive.
Interesting.
That you'd hear all these good things all the way around, and people would kind of squirm a little bit because we are so unused to hearing those kinds of positive things.
Yes.
And so sometimes it even comes across as kind of like fake or strange or odd because we just don't hear it that often. And so I know I need to do it way more because I want the people that I love to be used to hearing it. That it's not unique and different. It's actually, this is how we do things. And so when you say something like, hey, I really appreciate this about you, or you do that so well, then they know it's just you being genuine and it's what you do. But I remember we did that with the youth, we did that with adults, and it was easier to give a compliment than it was to sit and hear the compliment. We just don't do that very often.
No, certainly not enough. And I can see that being slightly uncomfortable because it's very pointed, especially if you're a person that doesn't enjoy direct attention in that way. That can certainly be even somewhat overwhelming at that moment. But sometimes that is difficult to hear. But we all do need to hear it, and it is very important to keep us
It is.
Keep us positive, keep us encouraged that we can continue to go on what God's got for us.
Maybe we should resurrect that with our family, and we'll take turns at the dinner table putting people in the hot seat and talking about things that we appreciate about the other person.
We actually start something like that. Actually, we each night. Actually, I mean, it's very very direct about that. We pray, and I don't even know if we get a single scoop of food, and he's already okay. What did you what do you appreciate about today? What did you like?
What are you
about
thankful
today?
for?
What are you
That's
thankful
great.
for? What did you appreciate today? So he's very he's just right on that every night at the dinner table. He just how's your day? How's things going? And it's interesting because he's picking up on how important that is. So it's just interesting to see. But
What do you think about that? It's 6, just turned 7 years old.
Yeah,
that's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and he's all on it. It is his thing. That's what he likes to do. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a nice way to start dinner and just open up the conversation. How our days were and what we're thankful for. So
that's interesting because we do that after dinner.
Okay.
So after dinner, we go around and talk about what we're thankful for.
Yep.
But it would change the whole dinner conversation if you kind of made it a part of the meal.
Yeah.
That would be interesting too.
Yeah.
I have to think about that.
Yeah. So it was good. It was good. So Pastor Craig talked about the importance of doing what you once did to get what you once had.
Yeah.
If we're married, what are some things you did early in your relationship that you might want to pick up again?
So I know I made an effort to do, watch the movies, do the things that my wife enjoyed. It wasn't she asked and I was willing to do it. I was proactive. I know she likes that, so I'm going to suggest it. I'm going to set it up or plan it. I'm going to be proactive about that. And then making sacrifices, like when you're dating, I remember driving for an hour and a half just to spend the evening together, drive back late at night, knowing I was going to be dead tired the next day, but it was so important to spend time that I was willing to make that sacrifice. And I would do that weekend after weekend after weekend because I wanted to spend time. And then when you're around each other, even though you're not together, you don't prioritize it the same way. And so I think even just the quality time interacting with one another, raising that up to a higher level like I used to when we were dating back in the original, back in the beginning. So those ones come to mind for me.
I would say the very similar. Really thinking ahead on planning, taking kind of the reins on some of that. I know for us, I planned a lot of the dates, things that we would do together. I did a lot of that ahead of time. Some of it was things I enjoyed, stuff that she enjoyed, and just took the reins on that. And again, same things, sitting and watching some of the things or going out with her friends and things like that. That of course for me, I don't know many of these people. There's no significant relationship with them, but it was important for her to go to these different events that friends had. So I'll do that because I know it's important for her. I think just picking up more of that planning again, looking forward to things that she enjoys or things she's maybe hinted at, and taking the initiative and putting some of that in motion, and whether that's planning on a babysitter for Emmett, getting that set up, and that we can go like what Amy did, just came in, kids are taken care of, let's go. Something like that, I think would be a good starting point. Just working on that to kind of start bringing back in that fun and excitement of that pursuit of dating.
Well, I like that you're talking about supporting your wife in her interests in terms of people.
Yes.
Even reinforcing those relationships and being supportive of those relationships, and how valuable that could be.
Yeah.
That's really good.
It's I can't. It's not always about you, or I guess it'd be about me. You have to be open to experiencing things that they interest too. Because it's a back and forth. It's a 50-50 that we need to be able to give, take, and work that relationship that we can both enjoy the time that we have with each other, as well as interests that we either share or don't share, but enjoy together. And of course, if you guys are single, how can you be intentional in investing in a relationship? So something that's whether that's a friend or maybe it's a new girlfriend or boyfriend for you. What would those look like for investing? A bit more intentionality. A family member,
coworker.
Just to invest some intentionality into what you're doing, taking some time to get to know them better. I think is important. So let us know in the comments, guys, if that's what that might be for you. And if you're married, let us know as well. What may you want to pick up again that you were doing when you were dating or early on in your marriage that maybe faded a little bit? Let us know. We, of course, would love to hear you. I don't know how much time we have.
Oh, well, why don't you take a look at that? I love that idea that you could be investing in relationships that way, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes we forget about it with a spouse, but I think that we do it with also friendships. And we can actually be kind of hands off with friendships and kind of withdraw or retreat from them and not make an effort like we used to.
Yep.
Even when we first started to hang out with people that we enjoyed spending time with.
Yep.
Where you would plan times to get together and hang out and have fun. And you get older and you stop making the same effort and you just assume it's going to happen. You just assume the relationship's going to be great. We're going to be good friends. We're going to be close. We'll have a great time together, even though you're not making any of the effort anymore.
Yep.
And that same analogy of like water the grass where you are.
Yes.
Is true of your relationships with other people, not just with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where are you at with your friendships? And if you find those are starting to die out and fade and be withdrawn, maybe it's because we're just not making the same effort we used to make with them.
Yeah.
So making a change there would be really helpful too.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into kind of our last question here. So we want to think about a relationship that's important to us.
Yep.
And what is one thing we could do differently this week to improve that relationship? So again, we're talking about little steps.
Yes.
What might that little step be this week?
So one of those would be maybe just to get in touch a little bit more, like a text message or a phone call or something, FaceTime, just to connect. Not even for a long time, but just little kind of connections. And another little thing would be to plan a get together, just to make sure that when you got together one time, I plan the next one. Let's get moving on the next one.
Yep.
Because I find if I let it sit too long, months go by with some of those relationships and we don't get together. And then you're like, oh, why did I do that? So I think that would be to like make a small effort to plan something so it's on the schedule, we're getting to it.
Yep.
And then just a little bit more contact would be the other one I would think of.
Yeah, I would say, same kind of thing. That little bit of contact, that little bit of interaction, get that going. And if it's text message or something or a phone call, just hey, how's your week? How have things been going? Yeah. And just to open that dialogue again. Maybe it's a relationship that's maybe kind of been set to the side for a little bit. And it's a good way to get that started again, to get that dialogue moving, and just work on that relationship a little bit to get it moving in that more encouraging and positive direction. And that planning. So planning that thing and putting it on. I'm the same way. If it's not really planned out, I tend to forget it. Yeah. And so getting it in a more normal rotation, and whether that's, every other week we're going to do a campfire or something and we'll switch back and forth what location it is, and just have that in that rotation, certainly makes the effort, as well as then those relationships know, they want to spend time with me. They want to, they're showing interest, and that makes, I feel important because it's already planned. It's there, it's set, right? So those little things I think can make a big difference in how those relationships continue to grow, or even just to start working on them again, to get them into that growing stage that you can continue to invest. Which
is what Craig said in his first 2 points, right? If you think it, say it. If it's something good, make that connection, reach out and connect with that person and tell them. Or think of something, do it.
Yep. So
make that little effort to put something together, make something happen.
Yep.
And that's really what we're talking about, is just those two things in particular.
Yeah, that intentionality, I think, is the big key. Focused around this message is just being intentional with what you're doing, and who you're around, and how you're communicating. Being intentional with all of those pieces certainly change the dynamic of how the relationship's going to work.
Which reminds me of that principle from God's Word about you reap what you sow. You harvest what you plant.
Yep.
And if you're not going to plant anything, if you're not going to invest anything in these relationships, marriage or friends, you're not going to get anything in return.
No.
That should be obvious to us, and yet it still surprises us. We think
Yes.
we should get something for nothing.
Yeah.
And not that you're earning it, but that's how you actually kind of harvest something, is to sow that seed of making an effort.
Yeah, it's all about it's the intentionality and the effort. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And with those two, you can make relationships really move forward.
Yeah.
And it could be a family member, a coworker, a friend,
Yeah.
anybody. Any of those two pieces in those relationships can certainly make things grow in a much more positive direction.
Yeah.
So we are actually coming to the end of our time here. And so, of course, we want to thank you guys for joining us this week again for our Talk It Over. And we want to, of course, thank the tech guys behind us, making, of course, this all happen. Because without it, we certainly wouldn't be here.
Yeah, we even got a new tech guy. So
we do. We have a new tech guy this week.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Yeah, we appreciate the hands getting this all together. And we want to remember, whoever finds God finds life.